Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday for the past 5 years. I'm, of course, your host, that guy, Coca-Cola James, alongside Tequila Calico.
I mean, pretty much tequila. I'll take it.
I think you're more tequila than man at this point.
I mean, tequila, wine, beer. I mean, you might as well just say any alcohol. How about that?
I'll switch it
Moonshine,
every
Does it?
week.
Night, Thunderbird, Night Train, MD
Oh,
2020.
Thunderbird, no. I mean, Mad Dog 2020 has to be cold as shit for me to drink it. Like mad cold.
And if you like drinking, drain cleaner.
And Mountain Dew Scooter.
Ah, yes, and in case you were curious, it was me on the grassy knoll.
And it was a good week for wrestling with as we celebrated our 5 year anniversary interviews with Axel Lennox on Tuesday and Moondog Greg Murray on Wednesday. Two incredible interviews. Cannot recommend those enough. Go check them out in our archives. Uh, this upcoming Wednesday Wednesday, Tuesday, one of those days, we will be interviewing Olivia Rose. Just changed her name from Jade to Olivia Rose, looking for shine and Mission Pro. We talk all about that. Sketching, drawing, painting, um, haunted houses, scary movies, Scream, and a hell of a lot more. You can check that out this upcoming week. Uh, Continuing on, the 5 year anniversary, we started January 1st with a brand new Coleco Chronicles. With Coleco at Knox Pro Jingle Bell Knox. Shed some information, Coleco.
Yeah, the one thing that I always had like an issue with is like wrestling be slacking on the West Coast, or is it? I mean, the major big boys usually hardly come by. So I was like, you know what? Let me go to these indie shows and highlight some of these guys who are doing their work, right? So I got to go to Jingle Bell Knox, and oh my God, it was fun. It was basically a 2 day WrestleMania slash like event. So it was actually pretty fun, I must say. And it's always funner when the drinks are cheaper, so I'm not gonna complain about that. But just something to highlight. And as a matter of fact, they are going back in about, I think in April. So I'm thinking about going back in April. And then there's a couple of more that I'm trying to get in, and I might have to sell my soul to get the Bola, but we will have to figure that out.
Still have some time for Battle Los Angeles. I believe that takes place in September.
No, they've been flipped it because like it took place in February last year, which was crazy.
Hmm. Was not
Yeah,
aware of
like
that.
threw me off because when I saw this, like it was funny because a friend of mine were gonna go. It's like, isn't that usually during the summer? It's like, no, they did it in February last year. I was like, oh snap!
Michigan, you didn't even know
Yeah,
it.
didn't even know, but it's something to highlight those guys that are working because it's funny. Is like Compton Mania was another one that was like really really good and doesn't get a lot of play. So there's the little guys who are making it happen to entertain us.
Oh yeah. This is of course our 5 year anniversary, so as well of the Saturday preview and review format. Aside of besides being the 5 year episode, this is also going to be our 1000th upload on YouTube.
Oh,
Um,
sweet. Syndication.
oh yeah. So I mean, who
Wait a
else?
minute, this is the 1,000th? Should I like pop a bottle or something? Let me go get a bottle real quick.
Oh, I'm lighting up a cigar for it. One of my last, since I'm quitting.
Let's
Uh,
let's not get too excited. It's just 1,000 uploads. I mean, that's preview reviews, some specials, a
Who gives
hell of a
a
lot of
shit? It's a
interviews.
reason to celebrate, sir. Don't take away my joy. How dare you?
I mean, I'm always like, hey, can we do something for like, can we do like a 227th follower special?
I mean,
Some random number like that.
we're getting there, so maybe we will.
Hold on. Hope you hear it. Hope you hear it. Hope you hear it. Ah, there we go. It didn't pop as hard as I wanted it, but it's okay.
That's what she said.
I heard nothing.
Well, whether you joined us from episode one or just this is your first time listening to us, thank you, and we're gonna make it interesting because a lot of interesting things have happened in these last 2 weeks, to say the least. Um, because it is a great day for wrestling because we are all wrestling with the news. And one of the biggest news items that came out this week was that longtime WWE producer Kevin Dunn has left the company.
In other
Um,
words, done is done.
Dunn is done. It does seem like it's almost the. It probably is the end of an era, considering that he was the last remnant of the McMahon regime. No.
Oh, absolutely. Um, I mean, you can blame Kevin Dunn for all those random cutaways when we should have been focusing on the ring. Um, but uh, the big noise coming out of the WWE locker room is that it is a much calmer environment now that he and Vince are gone. Because I don't know if they said specifically who said this, but Triple H has never, gotten angry or blown his gasket over a decision regarding TV production or booking.
At least not yet.
Well, I mean, if anyone's going to do that, it's going to be his daughters. I mean, one's in training already, so.
Hmm. Well, what about you, Kaliko? What are your thoughts on Kevin Dunn finally retiring from WWE?
I mean, from what I read, it's not him retiring, but just leaving the wrestling business.
Right.
But this is just to say, the McMahon era is gone. Like, it seems like that's the end of it. I
That,
mean,
yeah.
and for those who kept thinking, like, I mean, it's gone in the sense of in the actual day to day operations, right? It's not gone in the overall scheme of things, but it seems like that's murder she wrote in the sense of, oh, Vince is gonna come in WWE backstage and write some shit, right?
Right. I mean, the only person that I would really say that is there that was a part of the McMahon regime was Bruce Pritchard. But there was a long stint where he wasn't as well. So
I mean, Triple H is kind of counts, but then again, he's also the face of change. So
I mean, luckily, if you ever watched something to wrestle with, um, Bruce never said a bad or cross word about Triple H. And maybe he knew something that we didn't. So, and I mean, now he's his boss, officially, properly. So, yeah. he knew who to get with when it came to the good graces. But I don't think it's that big of an impact. That
I would say it's a little bit more because of the complete joining of UFC and WWE under TKO Holdings.
right.
Uh, uh, and I'm gonna guess that there was, based on how long he's been in the business, I'm gonna assume Endeavor gave him early retirement, from their business. I wouldn't expect him to get reassigned to anything in Endeavor.
Right.
But for the new actual, technical, technically it's a combination, more of a partnership. You don't expect to really see any more MMA guys transferring over. I'd say it's a good lock for Ken Shamrock for the Hall of Fame.
It's he didn't get fired. He went out on his own terms. It's the last remnant of the McMahon era. I don't think there's too much more to say about it. Um, from Kevin Dunn leaving to the return of The Rock, in San Diego on day one. For anybody that didn't see it, Jinder Mahal was the former WWE champion returning to the company, even though he's been on WWE TV in the last, like, what, 3 months at least? Um, Not anything to be taken seriously. The Rock comes out, he does his Rock thing to Jinder Mahal, and does the Rock Bottom, does the People's Elbow, and then says, do I take a boot? Do I take a place at the bar, or do I take my place at the head of the table? Which did pop a lot of people.
I will say I don't believe he said my place. He said sit at the head of the table.
Yeah.
I mean, because clearly one would assume that The Rock is still a bit above Roman.
Just paraphrasing here, pal. But yeah, it did pop a lot of people. A lot of people are saying, okay, this is a confirmation for WrestleMania.
No.
Yeah. And will it be, a big, publicity that, The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania? But I do also feel like you're alienating the fans that have been watching all this time when you have guys like Cody and Jay, even LA Knight at this point.
I can shed a bit of light on this if you'd like.
Yeah, go.
The big thing going around is that it won't happen at WrestleMania. It'll happen at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. Because the Australians have been pushing really hard for the last couple months to try and get The Rock on that show.
Yeah. And that would, make it worth, getting up at, 5:30 in the morning for me, to watch it. But, and by the way, as of last night, there is no contender for Roman at the Rumble. It's likely going to be a fatal four-way, and LA Knight, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, unless something happens, I don't think all three of them are going to be in the Rumble. But my brain, when putting all this together, led me to a 3 main event WrestleMania, and it would be Punk and Rollins, not for a title. I do believe Drew will get one more shot at the Rumble, and that's when Rollins will lose. So, if this goes according to how I'm seeing it go, WrestleMania will be Roman Cody 2, Punk Rollins in a unsanctioned match or anything goes match, and for the World Heavyweight Championship, Drew versus Jay.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. I thought Cody Roman 2, Jimmy versus Jay, and Punk versus Rollins versus the title for the title.
We've been the one thing we've we've gone back and forth on is, should it be Cody finishing his story? Should it be Jay finishing his story? And I think with Drew and Jay on night 1, and Roman and Cody on night 2, I honestly don't know if I even would consider doing a Jay Jimmy 1-on-1 match, since it's almost very clear until Roman kicks him to the curb that he's still gonna be in tag team mode with Solo. Is it likely that the bloodline finally separates and Jimmy and Solo go into tag team mode? It's likely. I don't see Jimmy getting a singles run. And honestly, I wouldn't trust it.
What do you mean by trust it?
Jay is clearly the better performer and the more charismatic performer. Jimmy got shoehorned into betraying his twin brother, for some that reason, that bullshit reason, and still ends up separated anyway. So, it's, I don't, Jimmy's a bit too reliant, on building off of everybody. And I don't think Jimmy will ever reach that. They will never have enough confidence in him specifically to give him a J push.
Well, I never said a J push for Jimmy. But you have to at least give him the opportunity to go to be a J level wrestler.
Which is why I would expect Jay and Jimmy to happen at SummerSlam. Or even at Backlash in France or in Berlin.
I mean, they still can. If The Rock, I mean, obviously, Rock and Roman is going to happen at some point. Whether I'd be fine with it being done at Elimination Chamber, but could The Rock make an appearance in a wrestling capacity at Mania as well? Is a two-shot a possibility here? Kalika? No?
I mean, depending, I could be. I don't see it because I mean, well, granted, the strike is over, but they're not really resuming anything. And I'm trying to think what other project would The Rock be on that keeps him busy. I mean, Rock or Cena at this point. But the way that he said that, it was very slickingly that it's going to happen. The question is when, and I don't see that happening at a PLE. I don't see them bringing Rock back for a PLE. I could see them bringing him back for like night 1 or 2, but a PLE for no. I mean, not for Elimination Chamber.
See, that's the thing is that a lot of the a lot of fans think the time for Rock Roman has passed.
I mean, if there was a place to do it, it was going to be the Hollywood one. I mean, and you could
I
only
mean,
get it back because there's blood. So, I mean, that story's never not going to be there in the end. You know what I mean?
right, but I mean, it wasn't going to happen at Hollywood. It was. I mean, people thought it would, but sometimes, I mean, what we want sometimes it never comes when we want it, but it comes right on time. And like right now, at this point, even with the thought of it, they're firing on all cylinders right now. Have we ever seen a hotter start to to for WWE in in any first of the year? Because this is nuts. This is bananas. The fact that he even came and just spoke it, and I'm telling you right now, I've been in that arena for a lot of things. That pop was the craziest pop I've ever heard in that building since I've been here in my 20 years.
You just need Cena back, and we'll have 2012 all over again.
I know it's like 2013 all over again. Punk's back, Rock's back, Rock is back, fucking with Punk shit. Goddamn, Orton's back
for the last night, for the first time last night.
I mean, it's just bananas at this point. It's just crazy how it's 2013 again. But honestly, it just brings more intrigue, and I'm here for it. But I do think, I mean, Scooter's thought process, I'm starting to come with that. My only issue is that the way Damien tried to cash in and how Drew kept them from cashing in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how they're playing that. I don't think Cody is gonna I mean, is Cody gonna go against Roman again? It's hard for me to see it because unless he just wins the Rumble again twice in a row, I don't see that happening. But based on the odds,
What if The Rock wins the Rumble?
He won't.
He won't. There's no fucking way. No.
Yeah, there's no way he's gonna.
It would have to go to somebody who's going for the heavyweight title, and then they would have to come up with a contender for the other.
Yeah, and the thing about Priest is he's still got 6 months left.
Yeah,
he does.
And
the question,
he's not going to cash in at Mania.
I don't see him cashing in.
I mean, unless he tries to do it on for the World Heavyweight Championship, on the end of night 1. But I don't see that with the potential of Drew leaving. They may that's why I think they may give him night one to main event, with hopes he may resign, or in the case he leaves, he could say he's at least had an actual, crowd-filled WrestleMania main event. And no, I'm not caught. Drew and Bobby was not a main event.
No, it was not.
No, it wasn't. But it felt like it to me, though.
Alright, so let's kind of put a nail in this. Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. Good for business, bad for business. Scooter.
Uh, I don't think it will be bad for business. I don't think. I really don't think. Even though it's an anniversary year for Mania, that I don't think having it at Mania is going to be as successful as they think it'll be successful, just not to the greater extent. If it were, in Australia, where it's been quite a long time since they've done a show in Australia, a couple of years at least.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah. So, it's somewhere in the middle.
Kaliko, good for business, bad for business. Rock versus Roman at Mania.
Good for casuals. Good overall, but bad in the sense that it's kind of cutting away stories that they spent the year building on, which is basically they're going back to where it was. Uh, but the good news is that they have enough stars and stories to where they can kind of make up for that in a sense.
Yeah.
I think it'll be viewed by everybody named Mama because it's casual, and one of the first wrestlers people think of when they think of pro wrestling from back in the day is The Rock. So it is what it is. He's going to draw the eyeball. He's going to draw the Twitter following thing. He's going to draw all of that, and just a matter of how they book it.
Somebody that nobody's talking about, but WWE is interested in, is Kamile from the NWA. Her contract just came up with the company. She won't be resigning as of right now, and they said that WWE made her an offer. Um, Camille has been, a staple of that company for a good amount of time, and they really put everything behind her, especially on the women's division side. Um, if she does go to WWE, do you see her doing well? Good.
Oh man, I saw this too, and there's another potential big name signing coming from the other side of the world, and of course I mean Julia, if that's how you pronounce her name, Julia. Camille would be an interesting get, but I I think the WWE would repackage her, since not a lot of people are keeping track anyway of the NWA and Billy Corgan making announcements from his home.
I mean, they have an office building. So.
I mean, could this open a doorway for maybe if Camille comes along? Maybe do we get Ken Anderson back?
Ken Anderson back in WWE?
Yeah.
How?
Well, Well, you know, I don't expect NWA, to have their contracts, so ironclad that the talent can't go anywhere. And given that Kamile has worked with him a good deal over on Power, if it would probably help her a bit rather than the outright flop of Scarlett's initial run, Emma's return. There's a bunch of those women who came in again or are just not they're not making the mark. I think they would probably keep her off TV probably even longer than Jade.
Well, they were saying to the initial plan was to bring her on NXT.
Well, that's a good choice.
Right.
If they could maybe even a slight, a one-time appearance as Kamile in the Royal Rumble, given that it's expected that Naomi is coming back, especially now that Sasha isn't. Besides her, buying out both WWE and AEW, and NWA and Impact being united under one front that Sasha owns. It will be interesting, but she probably really does need to get familiar with the WWE style.
Kaliko, Kamile and WWE, your thoughts, if it actually does come to fruition?
I mean, that's a huge get. I mean, that girl was there from like the inception of the reincarnation of NWA. So it would be a get nonetheless. Depends on where she goes. It just stacks that women's division. I think the women's division, some of it is top heavy, and I don't know what they're going to do because I would think she would have to be on the main roster. Because Jesus knows, Rhea Ripley has been running through everybody and their mama on this goddamn roster. So something's going to have to give, right?
Well, somebody that is going to be on the sidelines for a little bit of time, Rachel Gonzalez,
Raquel Gonzalez
Rodriguez, for anybody that doesn't know, was diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome.
MCAS. Yep.
Which seems to be some type of version of eczema. It's really terrible, considering, she was getting somewhat of a push. And she could have been maybe one of the people to be a viable threat for Rhea.
I have to say this right now. MCAS is not about eczema. It is a condition which the patient experiences repeated episodes of the symptoms of anaphylaxis, an allergic reaction, over and over. So while hives is one of those things, that also includes swelling, difficulty breathing, low blood pressure, and a couple of other things. So it is a bit more serious.
Okay. So this is a matter of just her health at this point, right?
Yes.
So I think it's best to just wish her well, and hopefully she'll make a return to the ring, when she is healthy.
The the thing is, it depends on this, the symptoms she's exhibiting, and if they can actually be treated with this, the medications that are used in something like that. The question is physical activity like pro wrestling still a feasible option once she's on this stuff regularly, because this doesn't go away.
Right. Definitely wishing her well. Hopefully, she is able to make a return to start up to when it comes to this stuff. Um, Keeping on the women, and you mentioned it before, Scooter. It seems like Naomi's exile to TNA, contract, is coming up, and she is expected to make a return to the WWE. Um, I like Naomi, but considering we have a stacked women's roster at this point, we just got Jade Cargill coming sooner rather than later. Is it really a big deal for Naomi to come back, or is he just going to be stuck in the lost in the shuffle like she was before even all of these goals were here? Kaliko, why don't you start us off?
It's gonna be hard. It just depends on how they book these people. Because I'm assuming if they're wanting to keep these tag titles, they're gonna have to start forming tag teams instead of two single people come together with a common cause for the championship, right?
Right.
And that's where I think the issue was lied when they merged all the titles, because of the fact of the matter is that at first they were so in need of women that they had to merge it to make it a tweener title. But now that we have this influx of signings and possible returns, it kind of forces their hand to do something, to backtrack some shit that they already did.
Is it
So,
possible?
I mean, it just depends. It depends on where they put her, who they put her with, what's the story. Because I feel like in this, I think on SmackDown everything is just going with how Damage Control is going, right? And on Raw, it's just Rhea Ripley and nobody else when it comes to the title. Of course, they did the Nia Jax Becky Lynch story 5 years later, but I mean,
Uh,
better late than never, right? Uh, so yeah, it's just a matter of how they position these girls. And then Charlotte's on the shelf, so they need some people. They need some stars. It's just a matter of how they how they make them fit in their puzzles.
You think there's a possibility of a Jade Cargill Naomi tag team?
mm,
Mm, now with Nia back, she's more related to Nia than Jay Cargill.
Did they do that already?
mm, mm,
Uh,
no, it did. It did. You're thinking of
it
Tamina.
did her and Tamina, and Tamina retired. Fun facts.
Tamina retired?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Mm, I have a running theory on all this. By the way, the felony against Liv Morgan was dropped.
Yeah.
So now she's on a misdemeanor. Next court date's February 20th. It's possible we could see her as well. In fact, I almost expect it. I have a whole another theory about Naomi and Rhea Ripley's next opponent, but I think the WWE is going to. Oh wait, no, they checked off this statistic. They checked it off back at 36. No,
The
36.
diversity hire?
Yeah, I was going to say an all and all diversified main event for night one. Bianca, Jade, Naomi.
Oh, you talking about night one, nigga night, night two, white folk night.
Oh, God. I'm not.
That's what I called it. That's what I called it.
I'm not Bob Iger. I'm not running Disney here and forcing that into places where it shouldn't be. And James knows what I'm talking about. It's yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say, yay for Naomi and AJ Lee. April will come back and be the one to face Rhea. Mark my words.
Well,
that's a. But you can say Negro. You can say Negro.
Hey, no, I have no pass.
In Spanish is negro, so you know.
Negro casas. That's one thing.
let's get out of this segment before Scooter gets herself cancelled.
Drakkar Noir.
You can't get canceled. There's white rappers that say that.
To wrap up the Trinity segment, if she does come back to the WWE, I'm happy for her. I hope she enjoys the catering.
And she shouldn't. Wait a minute, bullshit. And she shouldn't have been fired in the first place. She let her feelings. She let Sasha fucking abandon her. Corey Graves was right all along. Corey Graves was right the whole time.
Naomi was a veteran compared to Sasha, and she let Sasha, have such influence over her.
Yes. Damn shame.
Well,
she essentially chose Sasha, over, working in the biggest storyline ever. So.
Well, one controversy to another controversial figure. Patrick Clark, the Velveteen Dream, has resurfaced. He made a video stating that he was sorry for all his misdemeanors in the past couple of years. He apologized to his fans, WWE, one Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels. And he's trying to essentially rebuild his image so he can possibly make a return run.
Ain't gonna fucking happen.
Jericho, agree?
I think it's possible. I mean, never say never. I just saw CM Punk come back after all that bullshit.
Yeah, but the CM Punk was not accused of grooming.
Yeah. There was no minors present in Punk's allegation.
I understand all that. I think the first step of him was just to take accountability, right?
Oh,
So
good. It's many years too late. You know, from and I've never actually really opened up about this, but I am a victim of that abuse myself, and mine came from a little bit of a worse place. It came from with inside my family, my bloodline, so to speak. And when you do that sort of stuff to people, the victims never forget, and especially here since it gained such global notice. If that ever were to happen, it would be the one bad decision Triple H would make. That that clearly, Jesus Freak HBK would speak out against. It's he made his own bed. Let him fucking lie in it.
I mean, I understand where Kaliko is coming from, where, he's trying to make amends. But, what he did, I also understand where you're coming from as well, where there is really no coming back from what he did because, it involves, children. That being said, are we soon, is there sooner is there sooner are we sooner to forgive people like David Starr and Joey Ryan than Velveteen Dream? If they came out and said, trying to rebuild their image, trying to do what Patrick Clark is trying to do right now.
I mean, atonement is different than you can atone all you want. So I get with what Scooter is saying. Like, yeah, atonement is one part, but you still have to you just because you atone, that doesn't mean that you are instantly forgiven. So I get the point that he's making. So that with that, and I can see that delicate balance there. Because atonement does not equal retribution,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what that, and I get where he's coming from in that,
Yeah.
because it's a matter of whether the powers that be feel like he paid that debt, not whether Velveteen feels like he paid that debt.
With given my life and the way it's gone, uh, I making amends for me is essentially a big part of recovery and addiction. Yeah, it's part of the 12 steps, and that may sound like that may be an addiction, but there's there's no 12 steps for the P word.
Right. Well,
One word I won't say.
right. If he is sorry and he does want to rebuild his image, and all of this is legit, fantastic. But do I see him ever coming back to WWE after this? No, I don't. So, if he's trying to be a better person, fantastic. But if he's doing this just to try and get back to WWE, then fuck that guy. Speaking of people that went through atonement, Andrade El Igolo. He's finally free from AEW after many years of trying to get free. Uh, it is expected that he is going back to WWE. But, like Naomi, is there really a spot for Andrade in WWE? Other than, on Charlotte's arm? Kaliko.
Maybe in the Santos Escobar thing. I mean, seems like to be a Spanish war popping off. So
But do you think that Andrade would accept being, an underling?
I wouldn't think he would pop in as an underling.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
The
I always felt uh, Escobar was the better version of Andrade because he could actually cut promos. So how do you justify bringing somebody in like Andrade when you already have somebody like Escobar?
I mean, you could easily do a Zelina turn and reunite them for the time being. That's the thing about Andrade. He's he's the largest out of the recent of any luchador that would be there. So I
Yeah,
think his size would protect him. I mean, we're gonna hear his old WWE music. I forget whether it was Tranquilo that was said his open music. Uh, he's gonna
yep,
he's gonna be at the Rumble clearly. And be it Tampa, that would it's probably gonna get a good reaction since that's a hop, skip, and a jump away from Jacksonville.
Very true.
There were rumors that he could even be there as soon as this past Monday. And this past Tuesday on NXT, they were hyping up the return of the appearance of a former NXT champion, and that turned out to be Kevin Owens.
Interesting.
Who interviewed with Grayson Waller for some reason, despite not having an actual, feud on SmackDown in front of him. But yeah, on Andrade is he'll be back. Charlotte just signed a new deal, a great new deal. And while she gets the surgery, and that Charlotte tends to do that a lot. She's out, and ends up with an injury, comes back, has a dominant run, and then goes back out with an injury. She's like the worst roster case of Murphy's Law, not Buddy Murphy. It's I mean, seeing Charlotte and Andrade, seeing a WWE couple would be nothing new. I'd expect them to get a. Oh crap! Did James? We lose James? No, we did. I expect Charlotte and Andrade to get a reality show.
Interesting.
So Charlotte can,
with Charlotte and Andrade.
so Charlotte can do something, to earn her her paycheck. Not that she doesn't, but she'll probably be out on she'll be she's got a number of months. I think she's got even less than Sasha has until she returns to the ring. Yeah. And they almost had the same injury. It's
Chelsea's injury was ankle. Charlotte's is knee.
it's in this. It's a it's on the general location.
It's a leg.
It's a
injury.
leg, James. Jesus Christ. It's a leg. It's a goddamn leg. I didn't know we were on sports science. Shit.
So
but
if I stub my toe, it's a leg injury.
hey, this from the man who calls
Actually, yes, it would be.
a child
It would be.
in their womb for 9 months an injury.
Well, if it keeps you on the shelf for 9 months, it's an injury.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Jesus.
Oh man.
And we've had guests confirm this.
That's called paternity, not maternity. Jesus. Maternity is not an injury.
Correct.
Let's see a man do that.
Andrade in WWE. Good thing, bad thing. What do you see?
To me, everything is based on how they use them. I mean, because everybody coming back is a good thing. I'm just looking at if all these motherfuckers coming back, who the fuck about to get cut? Because it's a lot of goddamn people. There's gonna be a lot of fat getting trimmed around that bitch. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like everybody coming back somewhere. Somebody's about to get pushed out the door. So I guess it's a good thing. Honestly, as much as I like Santos Escobar, and he's starting to try to get his rise now. I mean, Idolo in NXT was just he was different, and they just screwed the pooch when he got on the main roster.
They're both legacy, though. You got to remember that.
Well, speaking of people that were fired, Elias is now Elijah.
Oh God.
And I mean, it's interesting because I didn't actually know that Elias wrestled.
No, it's just his fourth twin brother. He's quadruplets.
Hmm.
So what? Elias, Ezekiel, Elijah,
And Elrod.
and Elrod. Elrod sounds like some Texans. But
If it rhymes with if it's a verb that rhymes with the name, no. You can't put an H on the end of a word and it still be accurate. I didn't know Elias wanted to be the frickin' Pope.
Yeah. And the Pope.
Look at me, I'm the freaking Pope.
Well,
I mean, I'm just throwing one out.
I'll be happy to set a plate for him every Passover. And then for everybody that doesn't know, for Passover, us Jews, we set a spot at the table that always remains empty because that is traditionally Elijah's feet.
Kind of like POWMIA, basically.
Yeah.
You must eat with Elijah all the time because you always have an empty seat at your dinner table.
I don't have a dinner table. I eat my food on my lap. Since I'm frozen to the chair in front of my laptop.
Well, we've been talking about all of WWE's, gets and wants when it comes to signing new talent. AEW signed Deonna Purrazzo. She is all elite now. Does it necessarily matter?
it makes a difference because it takes away from. I mean, Deonna was the she carried Impact for like a hot minute, so I mean,
I mean, till the
nothing
very
to
end
snob at,
for one.
pretty much. So I mean, to get someone like that is huge. I I just hope they don't do her like they did all the other WWE people. You know, they come over, they get a title shot, then they fade in the background. You know, like Ruby Riot, Mariah, Tony Storm. Well, Tony Storm finally came back, but she was lost for a minute there.
Even Athena at this point.
Athena in ROH though is fucking on it,
But
and
she's
she's raising our homie Billy Starks
Yeah.
like a champion.
but I mean Athena in AEW.
I mean, she's AEW by proxy, right? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like going from a Lexus to a goddamn Toyota. They're the same goddamn thing.
Alright. Last comments on Deonna? Skittle?
Uh, yeah. Okay. Great. No. 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 She's gonna. She's. I think she's gonna fizzle out, and they're not gonna be able to do. They're not gonna do a damn thing. Uh, she'll see Tony Khan. All his signings to him are new toys,
Yeah.
and uh, I mean, oh crap! Now I forgot. One of our previous guests just signed a TNA.
Um,
I can't remember the name now. Damn
Sam
it!
Corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Congratulations, Sam. Um, well, from signings to injuries, and we'll talk about the match when we get there. Keith Lee is still on the shelf. Um, had a match with Swerve, didn't make it. Talk about that a little bit later, but when is it time to kind of pull the trigger on Keith Lee at this point? Because he has had a plethora of injuries, health issues, and other in the past 3 years. And it's just a matter of somebody's health rather than, wanting to see this guy in a wrestling ring again. You know what I mean?
Uh, yeah. Yeah. And I find it very ironic that Adam Cole is basically uh, a valet for the next 4 or 5 months. Uh, what they wanted to be Keith Lee, they wanted to be Budge,
Yep.
right? Butch and Budge, Jesus. But yeah.
When push comes to budge.
Um. Oh crap! When you search Keith Lee in Google, he doesn't come up at all.
I literally just found that out yesterday.
Yeah. Um. Ironically enough, uh, uh, Keith Lee and is still on the. Oh, that's weird. They still have his WD still has his superstar page up. They have a lot of their former talents still pages still up.
Even if he leaves AEW at this point, if a contract comes out, what company, with morals is actually going to want to touch Keith Lee? You know what I mean?
It's an undisclosed injury, so I'm got to assume it's personal illness. Well, I mean, what physical injury aside from a massive, broken bone or many broken bones, or damage to an organ?
Let's say you, Kaliko. Your thoughts on Keith Lee?
Uh, I mean, I think he just needs a year to deal with this whole health thing and see how it's going to go for him. Because I hate that the fact that his best moment was in NXT, holding both belts, right?
Yeah, kind of capped off after that, didn't it?
It kind of, that was like the cap, that was like his peak. Um, and ever since then, it kind of fizzled out due to health or, concerns about his body or his well being. And I just want him to, I would hope, I mean, it's not my prerogative, but if he takes a year off to figure out what's going down and decide whether he's willing to do it all over again. More than likely, he's going to say yes. But sometimes, and he's going to have to come to grips with what the risk is versus reward of this whole endeavor, right?
Mm.
And that is where I just think he should just take that time off. Because honestly, if you tell him that he could get hurt in heal tomorrow and he'll come back at a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
But the issue is at what cost? Because it's funny how you know. For some people, I remember people gave WWE medical doctors hell, but everybody that kind of left after WWE, they've been kind of fucked up. So that's not a like. I'm dead ass serious. Like what? Daniel Bryan was fucking himself up. Keith Lee fucking himself up. Like all these people who kept saying like WWE didn't have like great medical, and it's just like, well, I, you kind of look at it from now. It's like maybe it was an overcautious, but it's an overcautious because they had people actually die from this shit. They don't want to have it happen on their conscience.
Right.
But Vice AEW's where it's more freestyle. Let's get your shit in. Ricks be damned. So there's no real way, and no one's telling them better. So
Nope.
they're risking their health to try to get the best pop on the spot than actually deal with the story in itself. Or that they're just dependent on one person and they ran that dude down the drain, MJF.
Well, selfishly, yeah, I would like to see Keith Lee come back, have a good run. Um, but I'm also in the boat of if he's not healthy enough to actually do this, then I would hope that he would have that sense in his head to say, if I go in there, it's going to hurt me, and maybe it's time for me to walk away.
No, it's gonna take someone. It when it comes to athletes, it rarely comes from them. And then at this point, you might as well call them an athlete. So when it comes to athletes, they're willing to die on their sword
Well,
if you let them.
hopefully Keith Lee does have that in his life. So,
Well, hopefully his lady will help him with that.
well, yeah. So, if he can make a return fantastic. If he can't, I just want him to be healthy. So that brings us to, as you said, dying on your sword. NDA is Jericho,
Hmm.
and Santa brought us the gift of Jericho, man. Read it on Twitter.
Twitter Jericho. Employee handbooks and all. Jesus Christ. fucking, fucking A.
If you've been living under a rock for the last, what, 2 weeks, then you did not see on Christmas Day at 4 a.m. in the morning, Chris Jericho went on Twitter to state that he did not sign an NDA when it came to the CM Punk Elite Scoreless at all out in Chicago 2022? Yeah, 2022. Um, I mean, why he needed to sign an NDA is beyond me. He wasn't fucking there. Um, if he was literally talking in the press conference when it was going on. Fun bit of fact there. But then, CM Punk's lawyer, Stephen P. New, who is also Jim Cornette's lawyer, um, got onto the conversation and said, well, it's in your employee handbook book, and let's kind of figure this out. Which made a rant of Jericho just saying that he's never had a handbook, he's never signed an NDA, and, he's God, and, all that fun stuff. Um, you would think that that would be the end of it, but it got worse somehow.
That's true.
Nick Hausman. It is Nick Hausman, right?
From I don't wanna plug
Yeah, no, but Nick
wrestling
Hausman.
site.
But he went on Twitter to mention that people had to sign NDAs when it pertained to Chris Jericho. Um, okay, and then he implied on his show that Chris Jericho was Harvey Weinstein and just running through the women's locker room doing horrible, atrocious things. Um, and that prompted us to where we currently are, and that is that there may have been some allegations, miscommunications, whatever you want to call them, between Chris Jericho and Kylie Ray that led to her release at the beginning of AEW back in 2019. Whew, that is a lot of information, no?
Yeah. Oh boy. I
So,
mean, yeah.
where do you guys want to start? The Twitter tirade on Christmas, the allegations by Hausman, or the allegations from Kylie Ray? If
Well,
anything,
Yes. Yes. Because in the
yes.
words of the great Kendrick Lamar, love is going to get you killed, but pride will be the death of you. And Chris Jericho's pride got his ass putting some shit that he ain't want to
Yeah.
be in.
Yeah. And if he hadn't said anything, he'd be in a much better position today. But the thing about this is that when Kylie Ray had her release, we were told that she wanted to focus on her mental health. And that's what angers me most. Because I already talked about, a lot of my mental health in the past. I'm not going to talk about it again. We'll never get out of here. The fact that would mean that she lied about it, or that was, the story peddled, and she just went with it, which is scary in its own right. I mean, it goes to show you can be accused 1 minute, then the person who accuses you, in this case, I'm talking about Houseman, backtracks on his stuff and says, "Oh, it was taken out of context." Yeah, I doubt how saying he's Harvey Weinstein can be backtracked on.
He was literally a monster.
Yep.
That's like saying, oh, well, he's like a modern day Charles Manson. And, well, that can be taken out of context. No, it cannot be taken out of context.
Yeah. You can't even take out of context of being modern day Marilyn Manson.
Exactly.
But yeah, for someone in Jericho's kind of position of power, all this stuff can happen, and he can just go on, it's another day, and he can announce, matches for, his cruise. I mean, that's still friggin' happening. Matches dropped today. And it's a weird, it's a weird card. I didn't know the Jericho cruise had its own titles. But that puts a lot of this in the scheme of things. I mean, until, and that's the thing. We've forgotten about innocent until proven guilty, and we know that Jericho has grown into being a bit of an unpleasant asshole.
Right.
And he's a lot of things. Is he guilty of sexual assault? I'm the person who judges slowly, and I need more proof than an emoji.
I'll give my comments after we hear from Felipe.
I mean, I already said what I need to say. If he had kept his mouth shut, he wouldn't have been in this. Because that's his. But that's how people roll when they think they're above people, right? Like, oh, there's a handbook. Well, I never had a handbook. I'm the great. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, now you're in some firestorm because of the fact that you just didn't think before you sent it out. You just led with the arrogance because you're Chris Jericho.
Too many
And
YJ Stingers.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think people would learn from like cats like Ric Flair and people who think that they're gods and shit, but I guess it never failed.
And keep in mind, this is a very different Chris Jericho than when he was in WWE. He is somewhat more
Dad
power
body?
trippy than he was.
Also fat.
Huh?
He's also fat!
Oh yeah, there was never a debate about that.
Worse dad bod than Miz.
I mean, you could say that he kind of has the physique of Harvey Weinstein.
Granddad bod. That's what we're calling it.
There you go. I'm when things come out like this, my first initial thought is, well, I could see that happening, or something of that line. So I'm not going to, accuse anybody of anything, but it doesn't surprise me when things like this come out. That being said, I am a Chris Jericho fan. Always has been. He is one of my favorite guys. His WWE run. Um, and I will be the first one to admit to you that Chris Jericho is an asshole. Has NDAs been signed by the men of maybe, different storyline pitches, creative differences, arguments, skirmishes that we don't know about that were in behind the scenes of AEW?
Mm.
Were those signed? Maybe.
Mm.
I could absolutely see that happening. But Chris Jericho being, accused of these allegations, I don't see that happening. I don't see him being that type of person. He's been married and he's been married for a very long time. He has 3 kids. There is no past allegations or uh, promiscuity on his part in the past. Um,
Guy ran with Lance Storm. Come on.
yeah, that guy is literally a drought when it comes to the sexual scene.
Yeah, the party doesn't start till Lance Storm walks out.
Exactly. So
Out of the room. Not out to, the ring.
I thought you meant like out of the building, but
No, that too.
So, was there maybe a negative encounter between Kylie Ray and Chris Jericho? I could see that happening. Could he have said something, or could have something been miscommunicated between the both of them? Yes, absolutely. Like it's documented in the past. Kylie Ray is, she has her mental health issues in the past. Um, so I can absolutely see. I'm not saying that that was, had anything to do with it, but I could see where she may have felt uncomfortable or, took it the wrong way, and that's kind of where we are now. That being said, Chris Jericho has not said anything. Kylie Ray hasn't said anything. She may not be able to say anything because she might have signed an NDA. And when Tony Khan was asked about it at the media scrum, he did not deny and or confirm anything concerning all of this. One thing about Tony Khan, he could have squashed this in 2 sentences. No, Chris Jericho has never had any allegations or misconduct when it comes to pertaining to all women. But he didn't.
Here's the one thing I think people are forgetting. Within regards to criminal activity, NDAs do not apply. And you can't enforce NDAs for everyday conversation, which is what's being implied here. I mean, is Jericho paranoid? I mean, in his old age, something I never thought I'd say. You know, the man, he's 53 for God's sake. I mean, today I thought Chris Jericho would be a relic, but this whole crap about NDAs, if everything comes out, there's no NDA in the world that would protect him, nor would it protect Kylie Ray in the same manner. Unless she's got proof that it happened. I mean, at this point, people will, people. There's a lot of people that would probably agree with her if she simply said, "Chris Jericho sexually assaulted me." It's so unusual, and it's so it's so strange that that a lot of people don't really know the basics, and they throw around terms like NDA to keep people under wraps, and and people don't remember if they sign an NDA. This is so much of an unusual situation that, I mean, is Chris Jericho going to sink his boat? I wouldn't be surprised if at least one person on board tried to. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a group protesting right at the dock. Or if protesters were the ones who bought all of his tickets. It's just there's so much going on here that it just hurts my head.
I don't think. Okay, let's stop for 1 second and say that there was misconduct on Chris Jericho's part pertaining to Kylie Ray. Yes, let's forget about that little tidbit for a second. How bad does this make Tony Khan look?
He already looked terrible to a lot of wrestling fans. I mean, you gotta remember that after he said no comment, he also took about a couple of hits of blow, more hits of blow, off camera.
Well, this is the same guy that took shots at Vince McMahon for his misconducts, and his extracurricular activities, and then you have, and we're talking about literally the inception of AEW at this point. You have a girl that says, this guy, did something, and your first thing is, well, fire her and make her sign an NDA. That is a terrible look for Tony Khan, no?
And it's a possible lawsuit too, wrongful termination.
Well, no, she asked for her release.
I know, but again, everything going back has to be kind of looked at again.
Scrutinized, essentially.
Yeah.
Fine-tooth combed.
Well, you could definitely say, if this actually happened, Tony Khan is just as much of an issue in this whole thing as Chris Jericho is as well. If he's aiding and, covering up these, allegations himself.
Aid in the bet. So you wanna own wrestling?
I mean, with Vince's allegations, we knew Vince was a schmuck. Oh, yeah. We knew it because he's admitted to cheating.
Oh, yeah.
While married. So, it's one thing for, the top, the CEO of a company to be accused himself. And, if yourself, if you are accused, it's another thing to have one of your top guys accused. Because, that, as much as I hate to give Tony the benefit of the doubt here, aside from no comment, which is, I think that's the professional thing to do, it's possible that Tony wants to learn, do the due diligence himself. Likely not. It's possibly Tony Khan had already sided with Jericho and knew, these allegations were, unfaceted. It's, again, it goes back to that whole, like, every part of Jericho's life is now going to be scrutinized. And every woman in that locker room is going to be hounded. Like, did you do something? Did Chris Jericho do something to you? Did Chris Jericho do something to you? And it's a fucking feeding frenzy at this point. So.
And the crazy thing about it is, it was an offhanded comment from a spoiler sheet guy, Nick Hausman. Also, a spoiler sheet guy that's friends with CM Punk.
That's a grudge against Jericho already.
Exactly. So, he's and, if you say something on Twitter, then it's 100% real, and everybody is going to believe it. That's the rules. So, there could be nothing to this. Does seem like there is something, the way that Jericho and Tony has been handling it. But I hope that it's maybe not as severe as it's implied that it is, or that it damages how we view Chris Jericho in the future. Because, he's damaging his own image every time he gets in the ring. Any last comments, or should we just get to the next thing?
Gonna see Grandpa Jericho now?
You should have just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I may retire. I think I might actually retire my Chris Jericho faction now.
And the last bit of news, so we get out of here. On a positive note, Shotzi Blackheart has gotten married. She eloped in Las Vegas, and then teamed with Bianca Belair to take on Damage Control later in the night. What a way to get married.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Congratulations.
Exactly.
Oh God, and there's the whole thing with just before we get out of here, William Regal made his first WWE on-screen appearance for his son Charlie Dempsey, as he went to All Japan Pro Wrestling, which honestly I had no idea still existed until this announcement.
Oh, it existed. It still existed.
But that working relationship is something we'll probably see more develop going into next week.
All right. That will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WrestlingWithE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with AEW World's End.
Oh,
It took place
Really?
it happened.
last Saturday.
Maybe literally at this point.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
surprised that you wasn't there.
I mean, oh God, I had a friend there who was doing all the uh, letting me know how stuff was looking, and she was like in the second section, like 8th row from ringside, camera side. And even she regrets going. I mean, there was no Simon Pegg, no Nick Frost. I'm sorry, I had to make that joke. You knew that was coming. Oh man, this was painful. This was really painful. Such a step down from Wrestle Dream.
Well, it took place in Uniondale, New York, at the Nissan Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Attendance was 10,093.
And there was not enough. Oh God. Oh God. Now I can't remember the. There was not enough food and beverage. To go around. Mainly because, as it was previously known, the Nassau Coliseum, no longer is the host to any professional sports organization. So there's no vendors. And, the vendors were, fucking moron. AEW was responsible for the vendors. Merch ran out as well. Maybe that's a good sign. But
it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, the people were hungry. Let's say that.
Well, I mean, when every match is a P-break match, then you're starving.
I mean, people got a free toilet with entry.
Back to what I was saying, the attendance was 10,093. It's roughly a 14,000 seat arena, so not exactly a sellout, but it was one of their higher attendance shows.
So they claim.
Huh?
So they claim.
Well, I mean, Wikipedia, so. You've made your intentions very clear of what you target the shows for. So, as a whole, Kaliko, what are your thoughts on the show?
More like it happens.
This was, it seems like AEW either goes too mild or too full on. It's either their pay previews are either a generic basic dynamite episode, or every match is a death match and people are sprinkling blood all over. And this was the former, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. Let's get into it. We got Claudio Iacognoli and Don't Call Me Daniel Bryan Danielson with Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia. They defeated Jay Lethal White, Brody, Burger King, and Rush in 17 minutes and 50 seconds. The wall on the wall in my bathroom looked really good while this match was on. What say you, Scooter?
A 13-match card. Tony will never understand that less is more. And I've said this plenty of times about AEW. Number is not a substitute for quality and consistency. This was just to fit them on.
Are you talking about my bowel movement during this match or the match?
I'm talking about the whole world's bowel movements at this point.
Kaliko?
This will probably be the most times you hear me say next on a pay-per-view.
I give it, I can't really give it a star rating because I didn't see it. Scooter.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched the whole thing tip to tail, and this match was not just under 18 minutes. I mean, like you, James, I've spent more time in the bathroom. But, yeah, this was just, let's take everybody who is in the Continental Classic and just put them in a match. Like, even New Japan is smart enough not to do that. They at least leave it at 3 people, sometimes 4.
Yes.
Sometimes 4.
Yeah. Sometimes 4.
They love their 8 men.
But at least they have like teams, like straight up crews. Like
it's honestly, I think the most interesting thing was on Zero Hour, quite honestly.
And we're talking about
Willow versus Chris. There you go.
Yeah.
Then we have Miro defeating Gatorade L Idaho with CJ Perry the Platypus. And 14 minutes 45 seconds. This is when I got my Applebee's, and I was setting up, getting my appetizers, getting everything ready.
I was still taking a dump.
Very nice, very evil. Not a bad. If I'm being completely honest, not a bad match. Maybe 4 minutes too long. What say you, Scooter?
Well, my friend Dr. Doofenshmirtz didn't like this. You might as well call this, loser leaves town match. Because we'll probably never see either of these guys again in AEW, quite honestly. Oh, God. Oh, man. We knew this was happening. I don't think there's anything else to say about it, quite honestly.
Kaliko, is there something to say?
Gee, man's wife teams up with other person just to go back to her husband. Can't say I didn't see that coming.
Shocking!
How many stars, Scooter?
I usually pride myself on being fair. Not for this fucking show. -2 stars.
Kaliko?
I mean, 2?
I'll be nice, give it 2.5.
Wait, hold on. So it averages out to just about 0.8 of a star.
We have, next up, a timeless Tony Storm successfully defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Riho in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, this happened. Kaliko?
Pretty much. I mean, it felt like it was like a grown woman beating on a 12-year-old, but
I mean, that's all of Riho's matches, to be fair.
yeah. But it damn near was like squash territory.
I mean, we're getting up to the squash, but, Scooter.
Now, I now like to say, ever since ever since Tony Storm won with a loaded butt plate, about the same about this. Chin up, tits out, and watch for that ass.
How many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
I'll give it 2.
Kaliko?
2, because other than the fact Tony was in the match.
And I will agree with that. 2! Sweet! We got Swerve Strickland with Prince. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Prince Nana. They defeated Cody's older brother in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This was, and that's not including the pre-match beatdown, which just lingered on for like fucking ever.
Yeah.
Terrible
Next
match
time,
that nobody cared about.
Yeah, they gotta learn to choose their injuries better.
Got your leg crushed by a brick, but still came off the top rope.
Yeah.
Wonder if Charlotte could do that. Scooter, how many stars?
Yeah, despite the fact that Dustin, I believe this was actually Dustin's last match, because he said he was retiring at the end of 2023. It's clear Dustin just got this match because Tony, likes to one up the WWE, and
No. He was a replacement for Keith Lee.
I know, but I mean, I don't believe that it was just learned of that day that Keith was not going to be around for World's End. I mean, if it's an injury that you're fighting with since 2022, yeah. So, I mean, yes, this was a squash. I mean, I have so much appreciation for Prince Nana, because God, it was over 20 years ago when I saw him at the Elks Lodge, and he's come so far. And they put him with the fastest rising star in AEW.
Oh yeah. But he swerves when they drive. I even saw a video the other day of Ryan swerving while he drived.
God, my nephew.
Shout out to Ryan. Kaliko.
Shout out to Nana, because he be swerving his ass off. I'm surprised he ain't got scoliosis by the time he be swerved. But yeah.
This was a 1-star match in my opinion. Scooter?
Yeah, one.
eh, yeah, when the best thing about this was nothing, and Nana, yes, and the most interesting thing happened on Dynamite in a dance-off between Daniel Garcia and Prince Nana. 1 star.
Next match up, we got an 8-man tag team. We got Sting, Debbie Allen, NDA is Jericho, and Sammy Guacamole. They defeated Ricky Stark, Big Bill, Cole Kutska, Takeshita, and Powerhouse Snaps in 15 minutes and 40 seconds. It's funny
Got
how
tomorrow.
Jericho is called the Sex God after,
Oh God! Oh
everything.
God! He
On
was
the
getting
phone. I'm talking.
NDA chance.
Yeah.
NDA chance. Oh God!
Everybody's going to bed, sir.
They AEW broke an
Mm.
essential booking rule here. If you've had an 8-man tag match on the show already, don't do another one unless it's Survivor Series. Like it's so complete. Like, ugh.
Well, I'm not going to put put defense for AEW, but it was supposed to be Jericho and Omega versus Starks and Bill
Yeah,
for the
but
titles.
Omega's career ended.
I mean, they were hit with a swerve. Did they deal with it in a great way? Absolutely not. But they got who they needed on the show, I suppose. That being said, 1.5 star.
So you're saying they got hit with a swerve and they didn't drive?
Yes.
Prior to this match, I didn't know that Jericho had even been accused of anything, which goes to show you. And part of me was thinking, oh well, are they implying that Sting's last match will be Jericho? I mean, which would be interesting. It's a match we've never seen, but it's clear that Sting's last match is going to be Darby. Now,
It's going to be Ric Flair, Scooter. That's why they brought him.
yeah, and they can drink a thing of woo energy. That's all you need. An energy drink made by a 76-year-old man trying to score some barely legal poon.
Have you read the ingredients for Woo?
I think it's just primarily Ric Flair's sweat.
Oh. And some other bodily fluids.
He got the recipe from Jericho. Oh God!
Oh my goodness! No,
Will you stop it?
too soon.
Because Jericho and YJ Stingers. I mean, that's like a 20-year feud built in already.
Oh God, help us!
Oh God! I need to go back in time and kick my own ass.
Give me a star. Just give me a star.
5. No. -4.
Kaliko.
1. I mean, 5 for the crowd yelling "Fuck you, Chris." I think they understood the assignment.
All right, we got Julia Hart defending the TBS Championship in a House Rules match against a Bad Don.
Abaddon.
The stipulation was biting was legal in 11 minutes and 35 seconds.
Would have been nice to
So,
know that. Would have been nice
what
to
does
know
that
that.
mean? So why is that house rules again? I'm lost.
Yeah, I did not know that during watching the match. I just read it right here.
I mean, I knew it was a House of Black rules match, but where the fuck did they say fighting was legal?
Again, I never heard that on
Yeah.
commentary, but
Yeah.
it's apparently that was the stipulations.
And also, holy shit, Abaddon's still employed? Oh god. 1.5 stars.
She's on
That's
the
it.
skeleton crew.
It's on some crew. She on some crew. One? It didn't push anything.
Okay. I'll give it 1 star as well. Then we have the AEW TNT Championship match that was no disqualification. We have Angle versus Catholic Cake with the Pro Diggity Damian Wayne in his corner. Yes.
Oh god. You know,
The
this
Angle
was
beat the Catholic.
this. Oh god, Anglo. Okay, I thought you were saying Angle.
Well, I mean, he can't be Edge anymore, so he has to be
I
the
mean,
Angle.
all right, fine. He could be Wasp, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
What?
Wasp, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
I'm talking about like an angle that you move something. Not the edge,
No.
but the angle.
Oh god. You know, I do a lot of fucking bad jokes, and that was terrible.
What did you fucking name him?
Zenith, Precipice.
Sexton Hardcastle.
Yes!
And that is the correct answer. Thank you, Khalifa.
Defeated, Big Daddy Jason Rezzo. This was the best match of the night, and that's not saying much here. I was like, okay, what's the over-under on Edge ruins his career tonight?
Yes.
Not like he didn't die trying.
You say that it was the best match, and I honestly didn't think much of that either. It was an okay match. There were some spots that were decent. The whole flaming table thing was a wet fart, to say the least.
Yeah, like, okay. Oh, flaming table. In the same arena where it was done, at 22.
That was in Chicago, not New York.
22 with Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Damn it. Fuck. See? AEW is, fucking with everyone's memory now.
I love the fact that Nick Wayne's mom was ringside. Her son went through a flaming table. Never checked on him.
Well, he didn't catch on fire.
A little bit.
Or did he? A little bit. I mean, it probably, somebody actually unloading a wet fart on the flaming table would have gotten a better pop.
Did anybody look at the backside of Nick Wayne after the match?
Yes, he's now running around with a huge scar on his ass. That's where he was. He took that flaming table in the ass, on the ass.
What are we doing?
Oh, this is oh god, this was just, this was, this was to me the best match, but not by a lot. And with all the booking bullshit. Oh yay! So what? Congrats. Is Tony trying to legitimize the TNT Championship as something everybody wants?
I mean, the belt
Because
hasn't been relevant since Brody had it.
and
No, the only that's the only title Darby Allin wants. Let's make it clear.
top stars shouldn't be aspiring to be mid-card champions. First thing I said when I saw that Adam Copeland won was, yeah, congrats, you're a mid-card champion.
Well, he didn't hold on to it for too long, because apparently there was a 20-man battle royal earlier in the night
Yes.
to determine a future AEW TNT championship match.
I'm done.
Like, oh my God.
It
Like,
was won by Luchasaurus. He came in to cash in on Angle.
it would be better for AEW if that little detail was brought to our attention yesterday.
Yeah, because it was on the pre-show, so they could have mentioned it, before the fucking match started, and then I'm just sitting there confused as to why Luchasaurus has a fucking contract that he gave to Cage later on to pin Adam Copeland in 11 seconds to regain the the TNT championship.
This was like this is your life edge in match form.
I have no idea at this point.
Everything Edge did in this match, he did previously in the WWE.
How many stars do you give it?
Say what you will, but when it swerved, Christian drove.
He got those Nana lessons.
Jesus fucking Christ. No, it's a Christian. I was going to give this match 3 stars, but I'm including that bumfuck cash-in this, and that took half a star off, so 2.5.
Kaliko?
I mean, rematch of tables, ladders, and chairs and hardcore match from WrestleMania with it was how put it this way, it was executed. It just was confusing. And how did we get to the execution? So, with that being said, 2.5 sounds about right.
2.5 stars sound right as well. Alright, we got the championship finals of the Continental Classic for the inaugural American Triple Crown Championship.
Is it a crown or a championship?
It came
I knew who.
Breakfast, some pancakes, eggs, sausage.
Wait a minute, which continental breakfast? Because continental breakfast is different from Four Seasons continental breakfast. So I need to know.
Cereal in some containers.
I
Or
need
a
to
creepy
know.
old woman holding a basket of boiled eggs.
I want the continental breakfast that has mimosas, sir.
Eddie Kingston defeated John Moxley in
That's
17
brunch.
minutes and 20 seconds.
That's not breakfast, that's brunch. A continental brunch championship. Another title, really? Really?
Yep.
And you know what?
And since this is actually being considered, its own championship, and the other belts are still considered singles championships.
Yep. So
yeah, they're not being fucking retired.
That's when I knew he was gonna win. When Renee opened her mouth during the pre-show, it was like, Yeah, Kings's titles are not going to be merged; they're separate. I was like, oh, this bitch is getting all them
Yeah.
hoes.
You want to know the somewhat sad part in all this? Eddie Kingston has just gone into the record books as the second man behind Ultimo Dragon for holding the most belts at once.
What? Lance Storm didn't have?
I mean, Austin Aries had like 15 at one point.
No, we don't count him.
Okay. Omega had
Unless
3 at
unless
one
he has a
point.
banana. He had. Did he? Oh. Yeah, wait. He had 3?
Yeah. AEW, TNA, and AAA.
Ah. Yeah, but a lot of people had 3 belts. That's the thing. It's that 4th belt. You know? I mean, AEW standing by their fat people.
I mean, I'm not gonna crap on this match that much because it was a decent match. It was hard hitting.
Why didn't Moxley bleed?
I like Eddie Kingston, and it was a good moment for him. It was a decently executed match compared to everything else on this card. If there is one thing, if you were ever to go back and watch this show, God knows why, you masochistic bastard, this would be the match I would recommend.
This would be the only one you'd recommend.
Yes.
Skip everything else. Please.
Good on. How many stars?
You know what? I'll be nice. Negative? No. Tell you what, 2.75.
Okay, we're getting into geometry at this point. Algebra, that's the one.
Hey, if we're doing halves, we're including a quarter, and we're including 0.25 and 0.75 also.
Okay. Kaliko.
I mean, 2.8. I might as well just at the 0.05. Like, what's the difference, right?
I just thought of a funnier number. 2.9.
You should say 2.81, James. Just
I'm going to surprise a lot of people with this.
3.
5 fucking stars.
You bastard!
And do you know why I'm giving this match 5 stars?
Because it's almost over?
Because Moxley didn't fucking bleed.
Oh, you know what? I take back my rating. I will give it 3 stars.
That's right. I'm right. 3.01.
Like, wow. The one event Moxley didn't feel the need to bleed.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I just came up with a slogan, didn't I? I feel the need to bleed.
And that brings
Pretty
us
much. I mean, but it was a wrestling match. It wasn't like, I mean
just wait until Tony Khan discovers First Blood matches. They'll call them the need to bleed match.
That brings us to the main event, the AEW
that
World
sounds
Championship
good.
match. Samoa Joe defeated MJF by technical submission in 17 minutes and 50 seconds.
What the fuck is technical submission?
Referee stoppage.
Yeah.
That ain't no technical. They just say ref stoppage.
I mean, it is a technical submission because they raised the hand 3 times. That is a technical submission.
What they have on Wikipedia.
Yeah, by pro wrestling standards, that is actually a technical submission.
So you telling me Stone Cold didn't submit? He technically submitted.
I mean, yeah. the thing is that technical submission in AEW is the same thing as referee stoppage in WWE, apparently. because that's what's down for Stone Cold and Brett at 13. Ken Shamrock's referee stoppage.
WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin via referee stoppage.
Thank you.
See, I told you that.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Then where the hell is technical submission?
Raising the hand 3 times. I mean, and it actually coming down.
Are they trying to copyright goddamn technical stoppage? Like, what the fuck?
If I remember correctly, Shamrock actually saw the blood on Austin's face and stopped the match.
No, what the fuck are we talking about? AEW! And Samoa Joe beat MJF. Say words about it.
Say words. It was how on earth was this able to get the same time as the opening match to the pay-per-view?
Yeah, nice little bow tail.
I didn't want to admit it, that it was so painstakingly obvious. I wanted it to be different. I wanted to be swerved.
And they didn't drive.
And the fucking devil turned out to be Adam Cole. Surprising no one. In other news, water is wet. I mean, we're actually going into 2024 now, and the fact that MJF has always said there'd be a bidding war for him, it's seemingly coming true by the hour.
It seems like that bidding war, the price mark has gone down maybe significantly since this last run he's had in AEW, huh?
I mean,
but do you think that's AEW's fault? Because
yes,
they
overexposed him.
They rode his ass to the dirt.
He, I think MJF's year was solid. It really was. He took crap and he turned chicken feet into chicken salad. That being said, Samoa Joe wasn't the one to beat him. He shouldn't have been the one to beat him. I mean, congrats. Okay, what does Adam Cole want? Just to ruin MJF's life?
Well, I mean, it couldn't have been. It should have been Adam Cole, but again, things got fucked up when he broke his ankle. So it was another swerve that they had to deal with.
Yeah. Like, part of me was thinking, was the ankle a work? Really? That would have been great, but it's Adam Cole. Yeah, and now he's nothing more than a valet. Adam! I'm sorry, but every time Roderick Strong did it, he sounded like Miss Hannigan from Annie. Annie!
I kind of disagree with you saying that he's just a valet, because this is what Adam Cole does best, and that's jaw jack as a heel, and it puts him on TV in a role that he's very comfortable with, putting over rivalry with a guy that's not going to be there for a couple of months. and build up that rivalry when he's able to actually do it, and when MJF's actually able to do it. I didn't. I watched the opening of AEW this week, and I was invested in what Adam Cole was saying. Then they showed me what was coming up on the show, and I turned that shit off. Uh, El Vikino, Hydro Vikino, and Brian Cage in the same match? No fucking thank you.
Daniel Garcia and Swerve in the main event. That's
Yeah,
not a main event.
that'll pull asses and seats.
Yeah, great. AEW is leaning into memes.
So, I mean, was it is it a good rivalry? Yes. Could it have been executed a lot better? Absolutely. Does it suffer because of this? 100%.
I mean, I suppose you're right. I mean, I suppose it could have been another reality show for him to fuck up. Um, I would have liked to see Adam and Britt as heels together rather than this. The Undisputed Kingdom. Like, there's no room for thinking anymore in AEW.
Nope.
Everything is derivative. And then again, this is pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
The business is
Was
derivative.
that ever room for thinking in AEW?
I mean, yes, but you had to find someone who had brains.
You don't need brains when you have money, Scooter.
AEW is the only business that would survive a zombie apocalypse.
Because they lack brains. And that's why.
No brains!
Fun fact, that's why Abandon is there.
Abadabadabadon.
Abba dabba
Yabba dabba
doo.
da. Yep, yabba dabba da. There you go.
How many stars do you give? How many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
One of these days, bang, zoom, right to AEW. I mean, I will say this: MJF is the spot king. Like the man, he takes something so trivial, as a body slam or that stupid ass drop kick, the kangaroo kick, and he just, I mean, he's got them, I also think they used the best friends pull out way more for this event. 2.5.
Kaliko.
I mean, I'm gonna say it too because it's just Joe beating the bodyguard he pushed out from NXT.
I mean, there was a point, there was that tweet where MJF said, Joe, you'd be a terrible bodyguard.
I give this stage 2 REM sleep because that's where I was basically at this point in the show.
My friend who was there left right after the Cole reveal.
So literally the end.
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of people leaving already.
I mean, gonna start beat that traffic.
I mean, it's a part of Long Island that doesn't really have a lot of traffic, so I mean, they could have left. They could have left the next day at rush hour, and there'd still be no traffic.
Alright, So the show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, Scooter,
Thumbs up the ass.
Kaliko.
Second Royal.
Um, thumbs like a 70-year-old flaccid man trying to get on Viagra.
I mean, this was so bad. TNA decided to change their events from pay-per-views to premium live events.
I was gonna say thumbs down as well, but I don't think we're gonna beat Kaliko's interpretation. So yeah,
You know, the
that
thumbs were
will
cut off. That's what they were for this. Jesus.
conclude our coverage of AEW's
Uh,
World's
uh,
End.
this will now be a form of torture at Guantanamo Bay. And for all federal state prisoners serving more than a decade.
Once again, that will conclude the coverage.
Thank God.
And we are wrestling with NJPW Wrestle Kingdoms 18 in the Tokyo Dome. It
Oh
was in
God.
it was at January 4th. Attendance was 27,422.
20,000 more than at World's End.
Yeah.
This is correct.
The first reign under Tanahashi as president.
Correct. And if I'm being honest, I didn't go into this show with a lot of expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised of the quality of the matches and what actually came to tuition with them. Kaliko, I know you love your New Japan as well. What did you think of the show as a whole?
I braved it. I braved this stuff. But yeah, New Japan, it's like we said, they were in that weird spot where they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next mantle takers. And for all intents and purposes, we kind of got some of the clues, and we got some of the clues of who it ain't gonna be. Sonata,
Okada. I didn't see Okada
uh,
either.
but we had some surprising people pop up, and we had some quality matches. I will say so. I mean, I can't even knock it. It was an okay show for considering what they went through. The fact that Okada wasn't in the main event. I mean, yeah, but I think the main event was rather lackluster. But it's a
Scooter,
whole nother
I'm
story.
assuming you did not watch Wrestle Kingdom.
Uh, no. But it was nice to know that it was actually available to me for like the first time ever through NJPW World.
It's always
Even though,
available.
yeah, but I didn't realize it was. The subscription was only
He's like, I
$9.99.
didn't know it was that available.
I didn't know it was that free of the country.
I feel you. That's how I feel with trying to get bowler tickets. So don't get it twisted. I feel you.
All right, let's get into the matches. The first match up, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. Uh, Fran- Francisco Akira and the Aswang TJP defeated Willem Bologna and Clark Connors in 9 minutes and 38 seconds. Cats 2 over 2, your new titles, champions.
Another Bullet Club sub faction. Jesus.
Um, yeah, pretty
It's,
much.
it's worse than
So
the NWO.
interesting to see TJP with the Fiend mask. Didn't exactly deliver like the Fiend, but it was still a match
You could,
that did what it needed to do. Akira and TJP are a great tag team, and it was cool to see them get their moment. Kaliko.
Pretty much, but he was a Filipino fiend, so you can only go so cheap with a Filipino fiend. Uh, but yeah, I mean, honestly, they were probably the best tag team in that division the whole year through and through. So they earned that. They earned that. That's for sure.
Good thoughts on the Filipino Fiend, Scooter.
To make a
Uh,
long story short, he's supposed to be a comeback zombie from the dead because he got beat in a casket match. It's a whole thing.
I mean,
Explain.
yeah, the yeah, I'm sure there were other creatures in Japanese mythology that they could have, you know, done something. I mean, TJP. I mean, you can TJP could make a whole show about the ocean dry. But I mean, a lot of fucking changes. Also, a lot of fucking new titles, and we harp on AEW for that, but nothing will ever top NJPW for the belts.
And that brings us to the NJPW World TV Championship. President Hiroshi Tanahashi invoked his presidency on Zack Sabre Jr. to become the new champion in 8 minutes and 53 seconds. Kind of a lackluster ending, but they've had better matches at this point. But, kind of is what it is. No, Kaliko?
I'm just surprised 50-50 didn't put in his 50-50 clause. So yeah, that threw me off.
The first match, the junior heavyweight tag team championship match. How many stars do you give that one?
Which one? The tag match?
Yeah.
That was a solid 3.5. It was a solid three because it was good, fast action, and to me, the right team won. Um, the other team made him look formidable. Yeah, it went, and it was 9 minutes, so he can't really 5 stars.
Yeah.
But he needs to get away from that goddamn zombie shit.
I'll give it 3 stars. And President Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. Um
50-50.
kind of lackluster 2.5. Kaliko?
In the range, a 2.
Would you like to rate these matches, Scooter?
No, I didn't actually see them, so it wouldn't be right for me to rate them.
Fair enough. We got Yoda Tsuji losing to Yuya Uemura in 10 minutes and 56 seconds with a deadbolt suplex.
Battle of the Jobbers.
I mean, more or less, but this is probably going to be a Wrestle Kingdom main event down the line.
Eventually, they're testing them out. You can kind of see where they're trying to go,
Right.
and this is just to test them out to see how they're going to be in about 3 or 4 years.
I hate that they're doing Tsuji dirty, but I also see where they're kind of going with this. So, it's just a matter of patience, essentially, with New Japan when it comes to Tsuji.
Yeah, they just got to leave and find themselves, and then come back a whole different person.
I give it 3 stars. Scooter? Kaliko?
3 is about right for 9 minutes. I mean, granted, a lot of these matches didn't really have a lot of time, so but they packed a lot in a little time, so I'll give them that much.
We got Kaito Kiyomiya and Sora Uno losing to Evil and Ren Narita in 7 minutes and 6 seconds. A bit of a surprise to see Ren Narita with Evil, but I could understand where Ren needs that push, where Soda actually has had it.
Yes, and it set Evil up for to come later. So yeah, it Evil getting the win made sense. Granted, everything that transpired at the end.
It was only 7 minutes. Right guys won 2.5 stars.
To
Then we have the Never Openweight Championship match. Tamatonga defeated Shingo Takagi in 13 minutes and 46 seconds to become the new champion. Um, Honestly, great match. Just two big men slapping meat, and yeah, it worked. They beat the hell out of each other. It was interesting to watch. I feel like the right guy won as well.
but how long? Because now with Tonga admitting he's gone at the end of the month, did the right guy really win?
He said that he's done.
Yeah, to the press conference, he basically was saying he's leaving because he wants to be closer to his family.
How? I did not see the press conference afterwards.
So that to me was like, how are they gonna get rid of this? What they gonna do with this?
Well, I mean, if he's going to WWE, Carl Anderson was never a champion while he was still in WWE. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities of him coming back, even though he signed somewhere else.
True, but I don't think it's because I
No,
mean the way he explained it, it was more like the way he said it. He seen it more like he misses his family like hell more than going to WWE.
yeah, and
So that's where I have the issue that I could see him possibly going, but I wouldn't think WWE is going to sign him for a part-time schedule for a person who people barely even know.
Well, I mean, it's not like WWE does like their schedule isn't as hectic as it used to be. Like
And yeah, that that I will give.
I mean, we can put a pin in that for the moment being.
We'll
Um,
put a pin in the fact that yeah, that of the future. But for now, yes, that was a good match. I give it about 3.5. It was physical, very tough. He got his shining moment, which is what he was always wanting anyway, out of it. I just wish he had more time to take advantage of that shining moment, especially as he's just now finding his groove as a singles competitor
right.
and as a face at that. So, yeah, I just kind of wish he had found his groove in that capacity.
I will give it 4 stars. Like both guys, like the match, all around good. Alright, IWGP Tag Team and Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship match. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto lost to El Phantasmo and Hikuleo in 9 minutes and 47 seconds. What are your thoughts on Yoshi?
5 star match. 5 star match just because fucking Yoshihashi lost. God damn it. Best moment in New Japan history.
Well, there
Fuck
you go.
Yoshihashi. 5 star match just because he got his ass pinned. Punk motherfucker. Well, Goto took the pin, but god damn it, it should have been.
Does it take off a star because he didn't get pinned?
Man, take your blessings as you can get them. 5 star.
Okay. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Hiromu Takahashi lost to El Desperado in 14 minutes 21 seconds with a pinche loco. Um, Not their best match. I don't think anything's going to beat their Budokan match, but
Mm,
still
yeah,
solid,
no.
still physical, still Hiromu versus Despy in the end at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it seemed like that Wrestle Kingdom mode wore off on Takahashi. I always feel like he seems to have another gear when he's at the Wrestle Kingdoms for some odd reason, but I guess it didn't click this year, and he took the L for it.
I like the match, and you know what? I'll be generous. 4 stars.
3.5 because I've seen him do better.
Fair enough.
Coming back from a broken neck, the so shit.
All right, triple threat match to crown the inaugural IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion.
Jesus Christ.
Scooter, you're good with words. What's the difference between global and world?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, we had Will Ospreay and John Moxley losing to David Finlay in 22 minutes and 17 seconds. Scooter, does it surprise you that the only guy that actually represented New Japan Pro Wrestling won the fucking match?
No, you don't say.
Well, I could have, man.
Hopefully, David's brother will. Hopefully, this is a sign of the Finley family succeeding. With his brother being signed to WWE.
That is correct.
But no. Will Ospreay, AEW's newest signing, is finishing up with New Japan? No. Fucking Aussie Open.
There's no more Aussie Open.
Yes, there is.
No, Flipside.
They're going to be on the Jericho cruise.
Oh god, fuck me. Kaliko.
I told you, Finley was like that third dude. I told you this was like what was that? When you remember when it was Cena, Punk, and Alberto Del Rio, and everybody just kind of forgot about Alberto Del Rio. But then Alberto Del Rio ended up winning the goddamn match. That's exactly what this was. And it is nothing surprising here except for the fact that, well, I guess his name is Nick Nemeth now, aka Dolph Ziggler, is going to be in New Japan now because David Finley went after him, and they ended up popping off at getting it into it. So it seems like that's going to be his next challenger, which is a interesting challenger for a person coming into New Japan and getting a title shot at a belt that relatively is the combination of the British and the British and the American IWGP Championship. Honestly, this is just basically the U.S. title's a failure. But okay.
I figured out what the difference is about this belt. No Japanese man can hold it.
Oh, the Gaijin title.
Yeah, I was about to say Guilo, and I know that's a Chinese term. But yeah.
Is that an actual stipulation?
Gaijin title.
I mean, probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if, only, this belt applied to outsiders.
Interesting. It's still, the name is still meh, but like you said, Nick Nemeth came. It's nice to see that he's been doing charity work since he left WWE. Bringing his brother along with him. Um, I mean, it's basically what we thought it was going to be, and not much more. I give this match 5 stars, but Will Ospreay was in it, and I hate that guy, so that subtracts a half a star.
Jesus Christ.
There was weapons used, so that subtracts
It's a
another
triple
half a
threat.
star.
Come on. It's a triple threat. No DQ.
There was outside interference that subtracts another half a star.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus. You just.
and John Moxley bled. That subtracts a full star.
I
So,
mean, at this point, is that really more of an expectation than an unexpectation?
well, I mean, I give the other match a 5 star rating because he didn't bleed. So,
Yeah.
2.5 stars. Kaliko?
I mean, at minimum, solid 3.
The math
Uh,
on that is not correct, but it doesn't matter.
at minimum, solid 3. I mean, Jesus, it was a triple threat. No DQ. I expected all that bullshit. Chicanery.
Then we have Kazuchika Okada defeating Bryan Danielson in 23 minutes and 24 seconds. What a rainmaker. I would have expected a
Yes.
more exciting match than we actually got. And
I
at the
mean,
end, at,
Or potentially Okada's last match.
no, never.
no, hell no. Not yet.
And
Please, God, no.
I do
That's all they got.
question, I do question, what did Okada like really get out of this match? Okay, so he beat you twice, and now you beat him once. Great?
No,
Question mark.
it was it was basically we ain't have shit for you in New at the main event because we know you usually are used to fighting for titles. So we're just gonna let you pick whoever the fuck you want to fight, and then you're gonna go over. That's basically what that was. Because the fact that this match got 23 minutes and we've had tag matches that only took 10 for titles tells you everything.
I mean, yeah, when the pre-show Rambo takes more time than every match on your card. This might be New Japan's shortest event yet.
Considering, yes, because they used to, man, this shit used to be 8 hours, like a month. Easy 8. It was an easy 8.
Yeah.
Like, like this shit used to be a marathon. People complain about WrestleMania. No, New Japan got 8 hours, and they give you a 15-minute in between session break. Like, shit, they basically telling you clocked in for work. Take your mandatory break.
I give
So yeah,
Okada Bryan solid 3.5.
I mean, compared to the other ones. Yeah, but the right person won. It's Okada's world and when it comes to New Japan, and Daniel Bryanson was just a squirrel trying to get a nut, and the nut didn't pop up this time.
Alright. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match, not to be confused with the Global uh, Heavyweight Championship.
No,
Sonata
Gaijin versus non-Gaijin. There you go. That's what you could say.
Sonata lost to Tetsuya Naito in 25 minutes and
Uh,
42 seconds. Destino. Um, it was an okay match. It had
yeah,
it did feel like it was the main event. But usually these matches go maybe what 40,
30,
more than
30 to
30.
40. Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's because things weren't necessarily clicking for these guys, or maybe Naito just can't go as far as he used to.
I think
Um,
it's also part of Sonata's title reign not being as spectacular as it could have been.
I mean, yeah. It was
I could make the argument Sonata at this spot was basically Naito 10 years ago.
But I mean, that's the story that you could tell going forward. Your first main event at the Tokyo Dome didn't necessarily go as planned. And I do appreciate and I do know where they were going. Obviously after Naito won the match, got jumped by Evil, and Sonata saved him. So there still, to me, that made me feel like they still have some type of hope for Sonata. They still want to put him over as a face for the people to like, but it was still Naito's moment. You kind of understand what I mean?
Yeah, but when I'm looking at Sonata's run, I've never seen a champion have so little title defenses in a run for New Japan.
Considering how long he held it.
Correct. And then the fact that he basically got grouped in the G1 with a bunch of young lions. They didn't make him as strong because I've seen where they made him like champions look strong. Like fucking Okada was a champion and won the goddamn G1. So they know how to make a person look strong.
Right.
I just don't. I just don't think. I just think they were over cautious with Sonata in this regard, and it showed. It just the main event it showed. Um, I knew this was going to happen. I was like, my mind is telling me Sonata, but my mind was saying Naito, and my heart was saying Sonata. But we all knew it was Naito to lose. So.
And Naito won.
And Naito won. But Naito's they're stone cold. You can't.
You heard that
He's the
reaction,
man.
right?
Yes, so that's my point. Like it. If Okada is John Cena, he is Austin Punk, CM
Hmm.
Punk. Where for some odd reason he's cultish in that area. But I mean, Sonata wasn't getting that type of run or that type of pop from a crowd. Like I said, it's just basically like how Naito was 10 years ago when he tried to come out, when he had this Stardust gimmick and he tried to like come out and people were like, fuck you, who are you?
Right.
And he had to go and become become the person he is now for people to be like, oh shit, we like him.
Well, I think Sonata might be in a good position to do something going forward that actually redeems himself in the fans' eyes to, become the next guy. But Naito is the guy now. For, the time being, because we kind of know he's kind of in the twilight of his career at this point.
Well, that's the other thing, how much longer he's got left. Because what happens from here on out, or at New Year's Dash, which I think is already passed, or New Year's, whatever the hell I forget what it's called.
Yeah, New Year's Day.
New Year's Dash. That will kind of let me know how it's gonna go. Um, I'm trying to see if they're going to pop that rematch out. That's a possibility. Just giving him the run so Sonata can beat him. Because Sonata becoming a two-time champ, beating Naito and Okada says a lot, but it doesn't say a lot about those in-betweens, right?
Right.
And that's where it's a pitch, right? If he was beating like Takage and And hell, Takahashi, fucking evil. If he was running off these cats for the title, I could, see the point. Even like a Tanahashi, old ass. Shit, Blue Thunder for crying out loud. Somebody. but but the fact is, they didn't give him nobody a significant challenge. And when he got exposed in the G1. So that's where I was like, oh shit.
What do you see
Because
Jay
basically
one?
that
Continue.
because that J1 was basically that G1 was basically set up for him to basically cakewalk.
Right. But how long do you see Naito going? Honestly, do you see him holding the championship till next G1? Not G1. Next Wrestle Kingdom, where Tsunade could beat him, or do you see? I'd be shocked if they get another 6 months out of him. If I'm being honest.
I can't remember the last person that held that title from Wrestle Kingdom to Wrestle Kingdom.
Probably Okada.
Was it Okada? No, Okada. No. Was it Okada? I can't remember who was the last person that held it for a year. I mean, maybe. Yeah, Okada was the last person. Yeah, that's right. He was the last one. I thought you were saying Omega, but I mean, so to me, it's going to be weird because Okada's going to have to go back in that picture.
Hmm.
The question is how they're going to put it back in the picture. And are they going to put it back in the picture after Naito's run, or is he going to be the person to take it from Naito? Because at least there's a story with there's something to avenge the loss of losing the title to Sonata. Um, and of course, Naito and Okada got a fucking mega history, so
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else to be said about that. But it's just a matter of how they're going to push that part moving forward. Um, but we'll see how this works with the New Japan Cup. So that's another thing. So that's going to be coming up soon. So we'll see how they line those brackets up and go from there.
Oh yeah. All right. Um, how many stars do you give this one?
For a main event, it started out slow, picked up a bit, but it wasn't the main events that we've been used to. So like 2.5. I feel like it's like a 2.5 to 3 range to me.
That'd be nice. I'll give it 3.5 because Naito, the right person won. We got the roll call. We got the moment at the end. All right. That will conclude our coverage of actually wait. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Wrestle Kingdom.
Thumbs up for the people that were supposed to win. And they had some shockers in there, of course. Um, it was a good mix of trying to figure out who's going to be the next group while trying to appease the people in the moment. And that's a delicate balance that they pulled.
So thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up.
I give it a thumbs up as well. All right. That will conclude our coverage of Wrestle Kingdom and this episode as a whole. Um, Thank you so much for joining us for the last 5 years. Our 1000th upload on YouTube. Thank you for everything. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. Both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Paramount Coffee. Join us this upcoming week as we interview Olivia Rose, and hopefully we'll have a second interview soon to announce for you as well. Um, Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Twitter, Instagram, and Thread for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing, and links to those interviews and so much more. Follow me personally at JameShay993. Where can we find Kaliko?
And I am Kaliko's Chronicles, fresh into 2024. We're trying to figure out where I'm gonna go next.
Are we going to see a Raw Day 1 Chronicles?
Let's see if I can put it together. I'll see if I can put it together.
And of course, Scooter.
As always, or if you don't know who the hell I am, follow me on X at Scooter Dust. The remix is returning for the Royal Rumble. Keep the social media to look for that. Actually, I think that's it. It's the least I've had to say ever.
Well, for Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.